Hi folks, and in this video we're going to continue building up our shop, and in fact what we're going to do is start adding the images of the objects that we want to buy, and then perhaps look into building a little costing button down the bottom so we can add this in. Now what we want to do is actually create it in a brand new canvas, which we're going to just drag under our main canvas here so it appears just slightly under our lovely headings of the username and the total credits. And what we're going to want to do is think about how we're going to lay out the information of what we're using. We could use something like a uniform grid panel at the moment, maybe some wrap boxes, or maybe some horizontal boxes. This is completely up to you and your stylization. What I'm going to do is use a uniform grid panel and just drag and drop that on. So what should now happen is I have a basic uniform grid for my different objects that I can add within here. Now we can start thinking about adding buttons, because that's actually what our images are going to be. They're going to be buttons with images on the top of them. So to do that, we're going to grab the button and we're going to drop it into here, and you'll notice that a very tiny button has just appeared there. Not obviously the size that we want. We may want to make that bigger. I'm just playing around with the actual features at the moment. 50 might be a bit too much, and 50, oh no, that's ridiculous. Let's never set it to that big ever. Okay, that didn't work either, because that's the actual scale of the uniform box and not the objects within it. That makes sense. So it's this bit here that I want to change. Let's change that to 5. That will do. By 5. That will do nicely, and let's just set its alignment to more in the center. There we go. So that's the first object that I've got. I'm going to build a few buttons for this to work. I'm just going to copy and paste them underneath, or just drag them in like so, and then drag them in like so. Right, let's just quickly change all the size of the buttons so we have something that we're working with here. Right, so now we've got button 0 in, we then want button 1 in, and then we want button 2 in like so. If we added more buttons in, of course it will then make it more uniform and change the direction of it. You may want to change where it's actually appearing within the game world as well. All depends on how many objects you have and what you want it to look like, really. So for now, I'm just going to set it to that. Maybe change the size of the buttons. Maybe I don't like the size of the buttons. 10 by 10. That's not too bad, actually. I'm just going to copy the 10 button and then paste it into these like so. Right, so now we've got 3 little buttons. What we're going to do is just add an image on top of them, like so. So the first one has now got an image associated to it, and what we're going to do is actually get it so it has the image of the first object within our listing. So to do that, we're going to then go down and we are going to cast to shopping game mode, get game mode like so. Then we want it to be shop. There you go, get shop items, break shop items like so, and then the image is this get reference and get to reference 0. Right, so at the moment we don't actually have any information within here for the slate brush because we didn't actually add it. So let's just play around with that. So at the moment I had a slate brush, there we go, and I had some pictures. Awesome. Let's try it with slate brushes like I originally thought. So what we've got is we've got 3 different images and they are all assigned to different array elements. So Dune would be the one for 0, so we just drag and drop that in like so. There, we're happy with that. The next one is for root, so we drag and drop that in like so. And then the last one is for Gloomhaven, and we drag and drop that in like so. Right, first thing you'll notice is they have all resized to different sizes. So you might want to have either taken them into Photoshop, or we will actually edit them to start off with for the X and Y coordinates, like so. Right, now if I go into the game and I launch it, we should now have, boom, one massive button of our lovely lovely image. I'm assuming it's because it's made it too big within the scale form. Let's just have a look at our code here. Shouldn't be that, it might be this. Let's just change this down to 60. Let's see what it does. There you go, it made it a bit better to work with, but of course it's still too big. So let's break it down even further. We now just check the mathematics of what we've done, and actually it makes a whole lot more sense than beforehand. 10 by 10, isn't it? Because that's the size of the image. Now if I save it, launch it, it should be perfectly fine to how we just set it up. Boom. Maybe a bit smaller than we anticipated, so we may want to play around with that again and again and again until we have something which we are happy with. Now up to you to play around with it, see what you personally prefer, see what actually works for you and your actual game layout or whatever you're creating for this one. There you go, that looks fine. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do that for the next few images as well, just quickly adding on their images, binding them, and in fact I'll show you something really quick. So this is basically the code that we're using. We're getting from the game mode the target of the shopped objects, finding that image and then getting reference depending on what we've clicked on. I can just highlight over it, copy it by pressing Ctrl+C, go to brush index here, game brush index like so, and paste it just like that, destroy that return and then set that to 1. All of a sudden what should happen is it should update it, there we go, with the image that we wanted. So if we then just chuck this into button 2, make sure it's in the parented object, go to brush, add like so, and paste this in like here. Set this then to brush 2, return node, delete that, and then all of a sudden if I go to here, log on as Bob1, boom, we then have our 3 boxes with the correct image on. And in the next video folks, I will show you then how to make it so when you actually click on them, it will then add to a list what you've actually chosen to buy. Thanks for watching.